This time, it was a different sensation. It wasn't so much a dwindling down to a point. It was more like, you know, like imagine a building and lights going off in that building until it goes dark, but in random patterns.
I don't know if he kind of loses consciousness, but he definitely isn't there for a while, and then he comes back.
And the light's just kind of clicking off, click, 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 like that until it's all dark. And at that point, I didn't feel like anything had changed, except that everyone sort of behaved like it was changed. Hey, Callan, come here. Sit in my lap for a minute.
Why?
Please?
Okay.
Okay. Remember how on Friday, I got sick?
I just saw you for a little bit.
Yeah. Like I was asleep?
Yeah.
You know, that happens every once in a while. You remember when it happened at the old house?
Yeah.
And they took me to the hospital?
Yeah.
Well, they decided they know why it happens.
Why?
It's because I have a thing that's in my head. There's a vein that's not shaped right. So they decided that they can go and they can take it out.
Okay.
And
But how? How are they gonna take it out?
well, that's the deal. They're gonna go here and they're gonna cut a little hole.
Well, will it hurt to you?
No, because they're gonna put me asleep to do it.
Okay.
And they're gonna cut a little hole and they're gonna go in and the doctor's gonna take it out. He's a really good doctor. His name is Dr. Weber.
Wow.
There's no major red flags in Peter's history. There's no piece of information that we obtain that said he isn't a candidate for surgery. There's pieces of information that you have to reconcile as to exactly how you design the surgery, so whether to do a full temporal lobectomy or just a partial temporal lobectomy. And to me, that was the hardest decision. Part of it is that you never know the answer. You can't know the answer until you actually do it. And to do it in a way that minimizes the risks of any given individual is always the right thing to do. You never want to hurt anybody, you know, even if that means not doing something.
Hello, morning. Howard, come in.
So how are you doing?
I can't complain, really, because everything I know is supposed to work is working, but I feel out of sorts. I'm constantly forgetting things, and I feel different, and it's disorienting. What I'm feeling now is so vague and hard to define. It's really hard to grab hold of. Occasionally I worry that it's gonna go on like this for a long, long time, and I suppose that's when emotionally it gets heavy.
I don't have a good explanation of what's going on. The EEG that we got a few days ago is normal. I think stopping the medication at this point will probably help. In other words, I think that in a couple of months you'll be feeling back to baseline.
I believe that. I believe that's true. I can imagine that.
Sometimes, not just mental, but sometimes a number of physical afflictions were attributed to demons. Nevertheless, nobody that I know has had an obvious demon.
When I figure it out, I'll tell you why it happens to you.
Okay.
I start with, I think the brain is beautiful. And yet I go in there with the intent of removing parts of it at times. And then I also get something out of reconstructing it, putting it all back together again in a way that if you just saw the middle picture and not the end picture, you'd be amazed that it could go back together like that. And so if I reconstruct somebody's head in that way, and then you look at them in 6 months and they got a nice head of hair and nobody can tell that you got a scar there unless you actually point it out to them, and your friends are saying were you gone for a little while? To me, that's success. And then also to be rid of the seizures, that's the ultimate goal. And that's another beautiful thing if it happens. It's not going to happen every time, but when it does happen, it changes people, and it helps me keep doing what I'm doing.
When you come back home, can I see it right here?
Yeah. You can see where they made the hole, and there'll just be like probably a little line there.
Oh.
Nothing very exciting.
Yeah.
It's not like they're gonna put a window or anything.
You're so silly.
Or a steering wheel. I've been thinking about surgery. What if I come back perceptibly changed in some way in my personality?